Bienvenido a este nuevo episodio de este podcast. Mi nombre es Ricardo Cifuentes y el día de hoy estoy muy contento porque vamos a platicar con una persona muy especial. Nos vamos a conectar de aquí de México hasta Bulgaria para platicar con María BAKHRAKH. Ella es una coach de vida, ex business consultant, como ella dice. Nació en Rusia, se mudó a Israel, vivió en Singapur, Tailandia, en Austria. También trabajó durante mucho tiempo en China, donde generó diversos negocios. Pero más allá de la vida que vamos a platicar de ella, también vamos a conocer algo muy importante, que es su sistema, la creación de su sistema Max3C, Clarity, Confidence and Communication. Todo esto nos va a servir a todos aquellos que somos emprendedores, a todos aquellos que nos sentimos estancados en algún momento, en todos aquellos que vemos que el negocio no crece. Si tú eres uno de ellos, quédate en este podcast porque créeme que esta plática te va a ayudar bastante. Espero que la disfrutes tanto como yo la estoy haciendo, pero espero más que esto te ayude a tener un crecimiento personal en tu negocio y sobre todo a crecer en tu Millionaire Mindset. Hi Maria BAKHRAKH, how are you doing today?
I'm great. Thank you so much. How are you?
I'm very fine, and thank you so much to be here with us in this episode. And I want to talk with you about a lot of things, but we need to start by the beginning, okay?
No worries.
Okay. Well, first of all, you are moved from your when you was a kid. You live in Russia, and after you move at the 10 years to Israel, right?
True.
You was born in Russia, and after when you has 10 years old, you moved to Israel. And I wanna ask you about this. And how did this movement between countries affect or influence your perception of the world, and how the people is interacting each other?
I think it's an interesting question because first of all, there's a lot of skills that you learn as a kid when you move around, a lot of social interactions that you have to adjust and have to learn. It does create the ability to adjust to absolutely every situation very quickly. And you learn to recognize what people want very easily because you don't understand the language. So you try to pick up on the body language and you anticipate what is needed in certain situation. And I think it's an amazing skill, and it does create a certain social chameleon effect, which unfortunately makes us not necessarily the best people because we do start adjusting too much. We are really reading people too fast, and we understand what this other person needs. So on the same level, it's a great skill to have. On the other one, when we don't know how to use it in the right way, and when not to be a people pleaser, but instead of understanding the signals and to understand not necessarily what it means in those social situations, but generally, then it's a great tool. I think a lot of skills I learned as a kid moving around. I think it's also fun. You do enjoy a lot. You get a lot of many new friends. You learn new languages, new food, new environments. And I think there's also some instability that is created. And all of those things, I think it does make us the people that we are. All of those difficulties sometimes, and they are creating the person who we are today. Everything it built for the good and for the bad. Everything I am today is thanks to that movement. And I'm very thankful for my parents, to my parents for actually allowing us better life and wanting better for me and my brother, definitely.
It was a good decision, right?
Every decision is a good decision.
Except the bad
Absolutely. Every
decisions.
decision is a good decision. We will talk about it later on. There's literally a system about how to make decision, and there is no such thing as a bad decision. I will teach you how to make
Excellent.
the
I
best
love it.
decisions ever. Yes.
It makes sense. It makes sense. Well, then you studied economics, right, in Israel. and later you were in Thailand, Singapore, Australia, and I want to ask you something about all of this process that you have. What is the most important lesson that you learn from living with people from the other cultures? I mean, maybe a lesson that you said, this has marked me for life.
That's an amazing question. It is an amazing question. I think there are so many things that I learned during the years, not necessarily just from those cultures, but just generally. We always learn something. But I think the first thing that I have learned is that we only see those differences when the gap is so huge. So if I come from the West and I come to an Asian culture, so this gap, this difference is enormous. So of course I'm going to see it. But to understand that we still have the same differences within the same culture, within the same city, within the same people. And it's actually not about cultural differences, but it's about people's differences. We do think in different ways. We do want sometimes different things. We do have different backgrounds. We do have different traumas and different processing in our head. So actually, when you will say something and I will say something, of course, it's also because of the difference in cultures. But sometimes me and you gonna make more sense than me talking to a person from my own culture. So it is about differences. All people are different and all people are the same. And that's what I learned, that eventually we're all people and we all have different processing in our head, especially as entrepreneurs, especially in business, because our upbringing is different. Our roots are different. Our beliefs are different. Our core, who we are, is different. And sometimes you don't need to go all the way to China to actually see that difference. I'm sure that you know what I'm talking about. There's so many people around us that sometimes manage businesses in different way, and they have different perspectives and different mindsets, right?
Correct. And I want to ask you, you are talking about the difference core, the difference between each one mindset. But I don't know, I want to ask you if there exists some structure or similar structure in the mindset of the people around the world in the different countries.
If there's something similar in mindset?
Yeah. There's exists and or maybe you watch it when you live in different countries that the people had, for example, talking about the positive people, that people that had all of this mindset of positive things. It doesn't matter if you are living in Mexico, Bulgaria, China, Thailand, and whatever. There exists. You can check that or not, or not, or all the people is different in the mindset, in the brain.
I think there are always going to be positive people, and there's always going to be negative people. There's always going to be a mindset that's going to drag us down, and there's always going to be a mindset that's going to uplift us and motivate and create. But what I notice absolutely everywhere, people want to be content and satisfied and happy. I've never met people like as people as a person or people as country that they will say, we don't care about happiness. It doesn't exist. And regardless whether it is a financial success, regardless whether it's fulfillment in business, regardless whether it's happiness in family, personal, love, self-development, anything else, but people want good in their life. And thus the mindset will adjust based on that.
Excellent. It makes sense. Well, you learned about the patterns and systems because you work in a cybersecurity company, right? And I want to ask you about this because first, all of this knowledge that you have right now, I want to know if you are using this knowledge in your current activity, professional activity. because the brain is like in a system, the neurons, the connections, and all of this stuff. So I don't know if you are using this knowledge in your current activity, professional activity.
First of all, I use all knowledge I accumulate during these years all the time. I think this is the beauty of human brain, is that absolutely every detail we saw and learned during our whole life, including systems, including patterns, including analysis, memory, all of it sits here and we use it in different ways, sometimes consciously and sometimes subconsciously, which is even more, because even before that you said decision making, right? And sometimes we don't know why this decision just makes sense, even though all the signs are cons. You shouldn't make this decision, but somehow it just makes sense. Trust me, it means your brain tells you that this is the right decision. And it's based on information, on patterns that are already sitting there. It saw something about it, learned something about it, it got some information, it assessed the risk, it knows that this is the best decision for you right now based on those circumstances, your feelings, your incomes, your risks, your state of mind, your mindset, everything. It does take it under consideration. So absolutely everything we learn, there is a use. And I like patterns. I like patterns. And I think this love for understanding the mechanics of things came, luckily for me, from my dad, because he loves teaching me about cars and building train racks and, assembling Lego. There is logics for everything. It is a construction. And then, luckily for me, my mom taught me about creativity. So now we can combine both of those two and create amazing patterns and recognize them and analyze them and change them and adjust. So I think when people talk about creativity, a lot of times they say creativity, it's art, right? So it's more artistic, it's more creative, it's maybe more designy. But when people talk about patterns, it has to be more engineering, it has to be more analytical, it has to be more practical. And I think it's a combination of both, because when you know how to play with patterns, if I understand, if I do like this, my finger will move and thus the light will go on and off. Hey, wait, what will happen if I want to make it blue? So I understand the pattern and I now can control the pattern to create something new that I want to happen. And I love the fact that we have the ability to not just to create a PHP code, not just to create a certain logical chain, not just to build buildings, but to be able to adjust those patterns in our heads, to create analysis of literally electromagnetic and neurons that create certain patterns. And the way the brain works, it's a machine. Our brain is a system. So if it's a system, I can program it, and then I can also reprogram it, and I can analyze each pattern. What is the result? If there is input, process, and output, then I can change or the input or the process to get different results. And this is what people do. And this is what QA is for, right? When people create codes, let's say, for example, people sit and check codes in order to get certain results. Oh, wait, that didn't work. So we need to adjust. We need to change something in the language, in the process. And we can do it with brain. We can actually do it with our behavior. We can create results that we want by changing the processing. Of course, I am in love with this process.
It's amazing. It's amazing, and I want to ask you about these specific things that the reprogramming, all the behavior that we have in our brain. First of all, can we reprogram our behavior or thoughts or this positive or negative mindset? Well, obviously, everything needs to change the negative mindset to a positive mindset. Well, I guess. But this is the first. Can we do this? And after, how we can train this part of the brain, how we can start with the change and the real change from my life, for example.
I remember when people started asking me, Maria, what is NLP? What is this neuro-linguistic programming? Especially after I studied already CBT and the cognitive behavior changes, and how do we reprogram it? What is happening there? And it was sometimes very difficult for me to explain, because for me, it makes sense so easy. You just go in, you change the pattern, and then you just change. Again, for me, it's easy. And I thought that, and maybe it's going to make sense to you. You know, like when you buy meat and you want to grind it for hamburgers, right? So you buy a piece of meat, you have a grinding machine, and then a certain grinding meat comes out. Now try to imagine that you bought this grinding machine with a set of knives, right? There is a knife inside. You put the meat inside, something comes out. Now, can you imagine if this knife is not so great? It's not so great. And what you do is you try to grind the meat and everything is not, it's not doing the job. So eventually, the only thing that I need to do is to give you a different set of knife. The moment you put this new knife inside, you still use the same machine, the same meat comes in. You do the same process, but suddenly the result is actually much better. You actually have those really nice hamburgers or whatever your meat is, okay? Now, the idea is that, okay, so I gave you this new knife. The only thing you need to do is to keep using it. That's all. The same is in our brain. You change the input, you can't do that. You can change the environment. You can change the people you're with. You can change the books you're reading. You can change the information you're consuming. You can change the knowledge you consume in different levels. Absolutely everything, you can change it. Number one. Number two, the brain, the processing machine is still the same. But what we can do is to put a new program inside, to give you a new set of knives. Okay? Now they're going to be sharper. We're going to get rid of the limiting beliefs. We're going to get rid of those thing that anchor you or make this process in a certain way. We're going to remove them and we're going to put new ones. And now the outcomes is changing. The first time it's not as smooth, but the second time it's smoother and it's smoother and it's smoother. And what do we do to practice it? Many things. First of all, by repeating the same action. Second of all, by understanding that it's a new knife, it's a new program. So now we need to try it. We cannot just say, oh, it's not working. You have to try it. If you want a different result, let's try it again. Let's adjust it. Let's do the QA to it. Let's see, maybe we haven't put the exact programming very well, and now we need to adjust it slightly. And then the moment the pattern is aligned with what you want and your subconscious, it becomes smooth and again and again, and suddenly it's so easy. And sometimes, I'm not kidding, I've seen results like within 1-2 tries, suddenly just like, oof, it's so easy. Sometimes it's a little bit more difficult.
Nice. I think that it's a great idea to describe all of this part of the how to train your subconscious, and this analogy with the knife, it's like a very nice, I never heard before, but well, that's nice. And I want to, you have been in China by 9 years, right? And you work as a business consultant, specialized in the business efficiency, right?
True.
And after everything changed, you move again to Israel before the pandemic, and you need to restart your business. And I want to ask you in this part, because I think that it's very important, because it's the different vision. It's the same business, but with a different vision, right? And I want to ask you, what is the most difficult for you? It was in this all this process that you live and the moving and change the residence again, restart again with another kind of vision and all of these stuffs?
I think just generally there's a lot of difficulties when you move countries, right? Even if it's a short period of time or for a living, it is sometimes challenging, especially after 9 years not being there. And a lot of things change, including me. And I think, though, when addressing the issue of the business consulting, for me, it was the tech. It was the platforms. I'm not kidding. Suddenly, you need to readjust to new concepts because the marketing was different. The people were different, the audience, the fact that everything became digital. There was a lot of adjustment. There was a lot of pattern in my head that I needed to adjust in a new way, new thinking that I didn't need to do before. Because when I was working in China, it was literally word of mouth. I didn't need to do anything because it was so easy. People just saw the work that I was doing and they were recommending me to others. The moment I moved to a place that was mainly digital, it means I needed to have a digital presence, which I didn't have before. So I needed definitely to put myself on platforms, including Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram and YouTube, because I wanted to show people how I can help them. So I think that was definitely one of the challenges. And I think it definitely made me grow much more. But I think one of the most interesting and fascinating parts about it was the fact that I learned is that I want to do more of the coaching with my clients, because just consulting and efficiency was not enough anymore. When I was in China, it was more basically talking about efficiency and the gap, the cultural gap. And the moment that gap was kind of gone within the same country, there was no need to compensate the gap. I really wanted to focus on giving them the tools that would actually sit a little bit more on the mindset, and in order to make their business grow, in order to actually make them expand, and not just being efficient now with different culture, but to expand it to different cultures, to different markets, to different audience. How do you also create the best business within the same country while creating better operation, saving money, being happier, working less, creating more clients, and expanding? So for me, that was like, oh, wait, how do I do that? That's interesting. So I wanted to learn more. And that's why I went more into the studying of the NLP. And like I said, using the CBT, the cognitive changes, to actually implement it for the business owner themselves, so they will grow by themselves, so they will develop themselves, so they will change their mindset, and their business become much better. So I don't think it was a challenge eventually. I actually really enjoyed that.
Excellent. And there's my next questions. It's absolutely in this issue. What is the main difference between working with a corporate business model for the efficiency, and developing coaching focus on improving the mindset of entrepreneurs? What's the main difference?
I think I have a question. Have you ever cooked a meal? Do you like cooking?
Yeah,
Okay.
of course.
So what is the difference between having a recipe or improvise something, right? Both of them are fun. Now try to imagine a person who knows how to do both, who knows the recipe, who knows the rules, who knows what to do. And he's also very creative, and he knows the chemistry of what will happen if and how long, and he knows how to analyze. So try to imagine that person that decides to cook a meal, which one will be better? And I always say, when you have a combination between knowledge and mindset, the result is always going to be better, because nowadays we know what to do. You don't need me to tell you how to run your business. You kind of know that by now. You know what is better to do. I can organize your thoughts maybe as a business consultant. That is true. It is much easier for me to come and say, how about this? How about this? How about that? How about that? You mainly kind of like, well, I thought about it. You already know those answers. So for me, that part was interesting, definitely challenging, definitely organizing. It was efficient because you make things better. But what I wasn't making better is that person, because he was coming to work and eventually he still would feel that he should grow better, that he still should do better and should get more clients. And there's always was something in the mindset that was not aligned with the results of the business. And the moment I can fix both, then he becomes a master chef. And that's my
Excellent. Nice. It's another analogy that's very, very great. Actually, you currently work as a life coach, actually, right? And I have created a system, Max3C, clarity, confidence, and communication. How would you describe these systems or this Max3C system?
Well, I will not ask you to describe the system this time. I do think, first of all, how I would describe. I think everyone knows and understands the need for those three ingredients, let's call them components: confidence, clarity, and communication. I think when people try to focus only on one of them, it is great, but it creates a partial result. Because if I'm going to be working on my confidence, which is a lot of people do work, they just want to work on their confidence, it is great. But I think the moment it's just this, then still the business will not have the best result, or we as human beings will not develop ourselves fully, because I don't know now what I'm going to be doing with all this confidence. And a lot of times it does create confusion eventually, because now we have all this confidence, all this tool, this amazing superpower. And what do we do with that? A lot of times, nothing. A lot of times it doesn't go anywhere. Then there is the clarity. Clarity is amazing. By the way, when I was younger, I was one of those people that need clarity. You just do, you just feel, right? And it's amazing feeling, but eventually you don't get to the places that you want to be. So if I want to have blah, blah, blah business, I want to have a certain vision. If I don't have it, how do I know where do I go? And eventually a lot of people do lose their direction. I know a lot of people that end up really unhappy, even though they have really great, unclear life and they go with the flow. And I really like the being spontaneous and going with feeling. But when you have clarity, you can do it without not getting to your results. You still get your goals, you still get your dreams, and not ending up losing yourself in the process. So clarity is a component that is so, so important. And then communication. I do believe that without this one, you will not get anything in your life. Because, and this is definitely a 101 in NLP. If you want to see results from that other people involved, and we all in a society that other people involved, whether it is marketing, whether it is clients, whether it is a relationship, communication with spouses, children, everyone, we're always in communication. So even though I have my confidence, a lot of times, and I know the clarity, I will not communicate in a good way and I will not get what I actually want. My goal will not be achieved because I hurt the communication and I hurt with my communication other people. And that's why a lot of people, and you're probably familiar with the situation that is like, you need to be or the bad guy in order to succeed. And I believe that you don't. You can be the good guy with communication without hurting other people, without actually giving up from yourself, being confident, but without being assertive or slash aggressive or showing other people how great you are and getting those results that you want. By maximizing all three of them, you basically get to the best point that you can in your relationship, by yourself, self-development, in your business, with the environment, personal alignment, subconscious and conscious levels. And it's just you become basically, it's a superpower. It's a superpower. You can do anything you want.
Excellent, Maria. I think that is the trinity of the success. No, maximize these three: the confidence, the clarity, and the communication. You will have the success. It's amazing. It's an amazing system. And I have a lot of statistics for you from Mexico, because there's a lot of people that wants to grow, not just the business. They need to improve themselves within. So check these statistics, Maria, and tell me more in your perception of this. According to a study by BBA Mexico, around 33% of the new companies here in Mexico fail in the first year. 32%. Check this. And only 35% continue operating after 5 years. That's one. And the second one is another study by the ASEM. The ASEM is the Association of Entrepreneurs of Mexico, shows that 34% of companies fail because they think that only a large investment will help them to survive. So what is happening, Maria? Why do new business fail in Mexico and Latin America? And the most important question that I have for you is, how can entrepreneurs and managers benefit from your system, the Max3C, how they can support all of the business and the personal improve with this system?
First of all, those numbers kind of make me sad for a second, because I love seeing entrepreneurs succeed. And it saddens, I think, not only me, but definitely, I think, majority of people that work with industries that help entrepreneurs and give them services. It is a sad statistic, and I would definitely do anything that in my power to help to change those numbers, number one. Number two, I do believe that a lot of entrepreneurs and their companies fail, and it depends, of course. There are bigger, smaller businesses, startups, there are different industries, but mindset. A lot of people, they don't work on their mindset, or sometimes the other way around. They work on their mindset too much and they don't pay attention to other things. I do think that sometimes this correlation between those three components, like I said, you do need to have a clear vision of what you want. And this clarity issue is not only about your vision in business or as an entrepreneur. I want to, like, it's actually, you know, like as a business plan, as an ex-business consultant, I understand, like, you have like the vision and the mission and you have to build it, but it's about how exactly you see yourself in that business, how exactly you see not just the business, but helping actually the world. What is your uniqueness? What is your superpower? To get that confident and to make your, instead of seeing things as competition, but to see how can I use that as my superpower to create this boost when I get and penetrate the market, to communicate that in the best way possible to my clients, marketing, not just sales. I'm not even talking only about sales. It is about being. And when it is about being, it is about people. It's not about the company. You can create the box, you can create the papers, but eventually people who work there, they build the company. So you need to invest in the human capital, whether it is employees, whether it is the CEOs, or whether it's the owners. You do need to create those to maximize their power. By maximizing their power, their mental abilities, you can create the best business ever. And when you will create the business, the best option, the efficiency in mindset and in company operation system, and of course, helping clients eventually, then you will survive those numbers. And I do want to bring the Max3C also to Mexico because people, like you said, they need it. I want to give them this tool in order to not just grow their businesses and help them to beat the statistics, but to actually be happy as an entrepreneur and not struggling, hating their survival. And then within year 2, 3, closing their business. And then, this is the scary part, working for someone else 9 to 5. Let's not let that happen.
That's true. And I think that here in Mexico, the entrepreneurs have this difficult to start a new business. It's very complicated because if you have a job, a normal, a common job, that you are receiving your money each week or month or whatever, you need to take a very difficult decision because it's I continue working for a company or I'm start my own company. And it's very difficult. For this reason, I want to ask you if you have some advice for all of these entrepreneurs or people like is working right now in the company and like directors or CEOs or whatever. And what is the best advice for all of these people to improve all the structures, all the mindset structures?
Okay, so I will answer this not by myself, but one of the participants who participated in Entrepreneur Summit that me and another coach was hosting. And he was 17. He was the youngest participant. Yes, he opened a business. He started an online business. And he blew everyone's mind with his already started mindset. And I think it can teach a lot of people, not me, but actually what he said. So there was a lot of actually, like you said, it's difficult. There's so much competition. There's so much efficiency. You need to have capital. You need to have a lot. What are the chances for you to succeed? Almost slim to nothing. And what are the chances to become actually a millionaire? Oh, whew, this is so far. And then he said, true, if you're going to continue believing that, you will never get there. But if you're going to put yourself and say, I will be that one person out of 100 that will get there, then you might. And I think that was one of the best summaries of mindset and how it works, because as long as people gonna believe that their statistic is gonna win, of course, without them changing their mindset, it will win. And as long as you will work on your mindset to create those superpower, trust me, this boy will succeed because he will do anything he can to succeed. And already now at the age of 17, he opened a business and he already started generating revenue without investing capital, without going for the big things. But he already knows that if I want to be a millionaire. And you know what? A lot of people in that summit said, but what will happen if you're going to be 99 out of 100? You will not be in this 1%. Then he said, then I will not get my million, but I'm going to get my 900,000. And that's the mindset change. Because when people say, I cannot get a million, then they get zero, because that's what they believe. I cannot get there, so it means there. But if you believe that you can, and not just believing is not really working. You need to take steps. You do need to work on your confidence. You need to have exactly clear goals. You need to be able to communicate that, to market it, to manage it with good communication, to create the tools around that. The chances for you to lose getting smaller and getting you closer, even if it's not going to be to the million, but definitely to your 900,000, of course. And that's the same mindset that I definitely want to work in. And I'm not kidding, that kid blew everyone's mind. And when I say kid, he's an entrepreneur, more successful than a lot of people that were sitting in that room eventually. So be that kid and think with mind change. And if you need the help with that, then come to the workshops that we're going to create. Learn how to do that. Maria is coming and giving you the 3 C's, a lot of free insight. Even this right now, communication, get the best out of it, make yourself better, and go for your millions. Not just the money, but millions here, fulfillment, be happy. The man wants to be happy and he says, I want to be happy. I will be happy. He decided that he will get there, regardless of everyone saying, but it's going to be hard. And he just said, maybe it's true, but he's already aiming. And that's the whole concept of mindset. And that's no, I cannot steal this. That's not mine. This is his. This is his way. So I definitely stick to that one and say, this is what needs to be done. All here.
Amazing advice, because it's very important. The people think that an entrepreneur isn't just young people. It's not true. The entrepreneur is for everyone, and it's for any age that you know. So I think that it's an amazing advice, and I very, very appreciate that you have your time in this podcast. Maria, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and I just want to ask you the last thing. How do people connect with you? How do people can connect with you to take one by one as advisors and all of this stuff, consultant? Please let me know, or let us your contact, your social media contact, how we can connect with you.
Of course, first of all, I do one-on-ones. I have all the contacts that are going to be attached to this podcast. Go ahead, go to my website, schedule a meeting. I have clarity meetings. Again, I'm all pro clarity. I don't want you to be not sure about anything, including decisions of what you want in life. I do have clarity consultations. Contact me. Let's work on it. And attend the workshops. I have so many workshops, and they're coming actually to Mexico, and they're going to be there for you to attend. Go ahead, click the link, go and sign up and attend the workshop. You don't even need sometimes one-on-ones, but you do need all of this to maximize your powers. This is literally superpower. I'm not kidding. I have so much that I'm talking about superheroes and superpower. And I know it's maybe a little bit geeky of me, but I did like X-Men all the time. And to have those amazing powers when you actually save the world and you make the world better place. And I don't know who is better, Wolverine or Storm or Batman or Spider-Man or Superman, whatever is your thing is. But my meaning is that you literally can be more. You have superpower within you. And the only thing you need to do is to find that help. Not just find it. I'm already bringing it to you. Go and into the details, send me emails, ask for the information you want, and you're going to receive everything. It's all here. You need to start seeing what you want and just go and get it. That's all.
Take an action, entrepreneurs around Mexico and Latin America. And Maria is a very nice option to start with all of this, improve themselves, improve your growth, your business growth, and to take an action to have a better life. Thank you so much, Maria.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope you're going to have an amazing day there in Mexico. And I'm coming soon with all the videos, and we're going to do improve. And I'm going to help you to beat that statistic.
Nice, it makes sense. So I very, very appreciate your time. Like always, Maria, your energy, your knowledge, and everything that you can say for us. And very, very appreciate. Thank you, Maria, and I'll see you soon. See you in the next episode. Thanks for watching, and follow us on my social media. Bye-bye.